sensei.
Yo, what's up, JHEAT?
What's
The
up,
one, the only. Y'all know my brother.
What's up?
Yo. Let me turn mine on too. Ugh. But yeah, so I had made a little few tweaks to the intro. Got our own little DragonBallZ Power Hour. Now,
All right.
basically, what I wanted Power Hour to be, if anybody don't know, is where we kind of, I guess, get into depth discussion of power scaling. That's the one thing that a lot of people in anime does not understand. Like you might could take, it's just like taking someone from Beyblade and putting them up, putting a fight against someone who has a Pokemon, like or Yu-Gi-Oh and Beyblade. Like it's different power scaling. So I just thought,
Hold
like,
on. I got to run you right quick, bro. Hold on. What?
Nice. We both got our nice little intros going.
Can't complain.
But I would like to say I was asked at work by one of my coworkers, and they were like, "We all know Saitama is probably the most powerful anime character out there, but he gave me a very interesting fight that I want to go over." Now, do you have any idea who I'm about to put up against?
Goku. I will say this. I'm just going to say this. You're comparing a gag character to a shonen character who have completely different sets of power scaling and rules.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not a fair setting.
No, you want to take you want to take your bet because it's not Goku and Saitama.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
How about this on the other hand?
It depends.
Bro, so he said that'll been a fight right there.
It depends. If you're talking strictly Z, if you're talking strictly DBZ.
I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super Granola Moro art against Boruto Sasuke, like with Renegon type shit.
Okay, before he loses his Renegon, spoiler if you haven't read the
manga. They should have written it better. Oh, I'm sorry.
But prior to Sasuke losing his Renegon, yeah, I'd say this is a relatively even fight because he could just spam his teleportation as long as he has enough chakra to do it.
And he still has Mangekyo Sharingan Susanoo.
Yeah, he could put up a good fight. Sasuke would put up a hell of a fight, but I think Vegeta would outlast him in the end.
And one of my co-workers have asked me, he was like, how strong do you think Sasuke like really is? Like, I mean, if you just seen his development even as a kid, he had the aggressive taijutsu, I guess that came with the Sharingan or his Uchiha blood, but then he just went dark, and then he learned the powers of Orochimaru. He should have died against Deidara, took a bomb to the face, and lived.
I'm gonna stop you right there, bro. He summoned Manda to take the brunt of the blast. He hid in his stomach.
1 second. It was right there. Look, that should have killed him. Everybody knows that should have killed. Like, there's no way. He summoned that man that quick. I mean, he had 1 second. And that bomb just boom. And Deidara was a bad boy.
Well, it was a kamikaze. You barely had enough time to react. He did more than Yamcha did.
Yeah. Oh, true. Cyberman. And then there was another one where, speaking of Deidara, here's how, if anybody doesn't know how powerful he is, him versus Gaara in the Hidden Sand Village, that was a fight. I didn't expect Gara to put up that much of a fight.
Man. But come on, you don't become Kazekage after being deprived of your birthright, given how the Kazekage is structured, and then lead a pseudo coup d'etat over the course of a 2.5 year time skip and not be at least Kage level to hold your own against Kage level ninja. Or at the very least, high Joning level, at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already like noticed the way Naruto was going. Gara was going to be Kazekage anyway. He was the strongest out of them all. And it wasn't it in Boruto, or was it in Naruto Shippuden? He was guarding Shikaku.
Technically, okay, in Shippuden, he had a near-death experience when Gara was sealed and removed from him, but he was resuscitated by Lady Chiyo. And then in Boruto, he still has a decent relationship with Shikaku. He just didn't become a Jinchuriki again. I don't know why he didn't do that, but hey, I'm not gonna blame him.
Hey, if there's anything, I wouldn't mind being a Jinchuriki. If I would want to be any tail be Jinchuriki, I want to be Son Goku's.
Is
That
that because of the Dragon Ball connection, or because you like the four tails out of all the designs?
I'm a four tails, two tails, and nine tails.
Eh, I'd
I
raise you.
yeah
I fuck with Shikaku. He could be petty though. Shikaku could be petty as fuck, but I rock with him.
yeah he really can. Like Shikaku, he he runs off at the mouth, and I just like how Naruto said, "Oh, all right, Gamabunsa, I had enough summoning jutsu," and then they're just like, "What the world is that?" And then that orange arm just, and then that's when we first got to look at what the nine tails look like, and everyone's like, "Oh." But hey, so how strong is Sasuke Uchiha? Not anyone. Please, I know y'all probably have different power scaling on yourself. You know, you have people in the anime universe who still thinks that Goku's supreme. Some people say Luffy supreme, Ichigo. You know, a lot of
No, no,
people.
no, 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 no. Once you put the big three in the mix, that's when it gets all kinds of complicated.
Bro, screw the big three. One Punch Man tops all. Is how he was written.
You're comparing a gag character to Shonen. It's a completely different power structure.
Exactly. That's what they don't understand. Like that's just like like when
That's
he
like comparing a Raleigh to Goku. You're not going to get a fair fight out of that. Hence why most of their interactions are comedic.
yes,
A
even
Raleigh
though
was,
O'Reilly was not even part of the Dragon Ball, it was a crossover.
yeah, it was technically a crossover. But, but still, that wouldn't even be considered a fair fight. They actually brought Dr. Slump back for a filler episode in Super. I forget the exact number, but I know they came back they did another crossover for a filler episode. I want to say it was the baseball episode was separate, but I know it was a filler episode. I'm gonna have to look it up after the stream.
All
Okay,
right.
we're watching this now.
It's how strong is Sasuke? It's just a quick 9-minute video. This is gonna for anybody who's watching or is gonna watch this video will literally give y'all in more detail of how
How
strong he
strong is
was in
Sasuke? As
Boruto.
in Sasuke post losing the Renegon. Now, as I said in my video about how strong is Naruto post nerf, I think we need to do a very simple thing, as in start from the beginning, which would be their base genetics. And of course, that would mean Sasuke being an Uchiha. The Uchiha are descendants of Indra Otsutsuki, and through Indra, the Uchiha inherited Hagoromo's eye in the form of the Sharingan, granting them powerful spiritual
Say it
energy
right.
and
It's
chakra. Now, Sasuke
Sharingan.
doesn't have any feats in base during the Boruto era since his Renegon was always active. But he does have feats using EMS after losing his Renegon, with him keeping up and actually overpowering Borishiki. Albeit that was Borishiki who had no chakra, so it's somewhat of a feat, but not by a lot. Now, while Sasuke doesn't have anywhere near the amounts of chakra Naruto has, his chakra reserves are way higher than the average Jonin. And it's also very potent. His chakra reserves have also increased in Boruto, similar to Naruto, due to years training. Although losing an arm and an eye would reduce his chakra pool, since, as I explained earlier, chakra draws from the 13 trillion cells in your body and your spiritual energy to manifest. So if Sasuke is missing an entire arm and an eye, that means that he has less cells to draw from, if we're being technical about it. On top of the fact that he no longer has the Renegon's chakra. Now, we also have to acknowledge that while the Renegon itself
I buy the same products you do, only I get them much cheaper. I save hundreds of dollars a month by doing this one simple trick that I'm about to show you. Don't spend another dime shopping
itself was a source of chakra for Sasuke, it also took a toll on his physical energy, thus affecting his normal chakra output. So he will run out of chakra less frequently going forward since he no longer has the Renegon, but he also has less potent chakra due to losing the Renegon. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation for him. Now Sasuke still has the Sharingan, which allows him to use Genjutsu and see chakra even at a cellular level. In combat, this allows him to see fast-moving objects and once fully developed, offers some amount of predictive capabilities, which means that he can anticipate his opponent's next move based on the slightest muscle tension in their body and act accordingly to dodge or intercept. Now, this also requires him to be able to adapt accordingly, which means that his body has to be able to move to the same speed that his Sharingan can perceive the opponent's movements. For the simple fact that not because you're able to perceive something, that doesn't mean you're able to react to that perception. So Sasuke does need the bodily movements or the reaction speed to be able to even use this ability efficiently. This specific ability was seen in use when Sasuke perceived the fourth Raikage and dodged this attack using the Sharingan, while the Raikage utilized the lightning chakra cloak that's stated to be near light speed, and he did this using his 3 Tome Sharingan. So this would technically be a feat for both combat and reaction speed since he didn't just dodge the attack, he was also able to attack the Raikage at relative speeds. Now you could make the argument that the Raikage was not going at full speed since he was later able to blitz a Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke in that fight using the version 2 cloak. However, Sasuke did later implant Itachi's eyeballs and awaken the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is stated to remove the risk of going blind, and it also amped his power by a considerable amount. Speaking of Lightning Cloak, Sasuke seemed to have developed a version of that technique in his adult years, which he used against Momoshiki and Jigen. However, it's important to note that we don't know how much of a buff this cloak provides, but if we do go off the visual aspects, it doesn't seem to be on the same level as the Raikage's version 1 cloak, since it's not generating the same amount of lightning, which is basically what provides the speed amp. So we're not able to quantify the amount of amp it gives to Sasuke, so I don't know how to quantify it in a battle, but it is there and Sasuke can use it to amp his speed. Aside from that, Sasuke still has Chidori with all its variants, Amaterasu, Killing, Animal Summons, ability to use all 5 chakra natures, Izanagi, Izanami, and of course, Susanoo. And the Susanoo is pretty durable, but it's not indestructible. It gives him the ability to use Susanoo arrows and also the ability to fly if it's in its perfected form. And while in this perfected form, it's stated to have the strength that can rival the Biju. The problem with that statement is that it was only in reference to Madara's perfect Susanoo, which was amplified by Hagoromo's 6 paths chakra, since he also had the Renegon. Then the version of Sasuke Susanoo that was able to rival Naruto's Nine Tails was also amped by Hagoromo's 6 paths chakra. So the question would be, is Susanoo able to rival the Tail Beast without this power? We know that dojutsus do supply the user with immense chakra, as seen with Sasuke saying that he can feel Itachi's power flowing into him after implanting his eyes, and Obito stating that the chakra and ocular power from just one of Madara's Renegons was too much for him to handle. We also have Kakashi saying that he can still feel the 6 paths chakra in Obito's eyes after he gave them back to him in the fight against Kaguya. This confirms that the eyes themselves contains and supplies chakra. Then you add Madara saying that you must have both eyes to unleash your true power, and Obito saying that a dojutsu's true power can't be unleashed until the original owner has both eyeballs. This means that along with Sasuke no longer having the Renegon 6 paths chakra buff to boost his power, he's also short an entire eyeball, which means that he can never unleash the true power of his EMS. This means that his remaining EMS would be weaker than it was before, thus making him slower and less powerful. This also brings into question his ability to use the perfect Susanoo since he was only able to use that Susanoo after getting the Renegon from Hagoromo, which gave him Hagoromo's 6 paths chakra, chakra he no longer has. Yes, Madara was able to use his Susanoo even while blind, but that was a regular humanoid Susanoo, not a perfect Susanoo. He then had to retreat to get his Renegon from Black Zetsu after almost dying. If he was able to use his perfect Susanoo that rivaled the Biju, he would have done so, but he didn't, which implies that he couldn't. This all leads back to an Uchiha needing both dojutsus to unleash their true power, and
Bro, you're muted.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so we're gonna speak on that right now. Now, that really puts Sasuke at a disadvantage here against Vegeta. Now that he ain't got the Renegon and he has one eye, he ain't gonna be able to use perfect Susanoo.
He could still use constructs. He's just not going to be as strong as he used to be. Not to mention, you also have the Shin Uchiha clones from Gaiden. There's a way for Sasuke to get a second Sharingan eye if it came down to it.
Yeah,
he just won't have it. He just won't have 6 past powers from the Renegon.
And then there was this one instance that, you know, to use your Susanoo, you'll have to have both Mangekyo Sharingan. And like he said, Kakashi didn't gain it until Obito died and gave him the other eye, which gave Kakashi his blue Susanoo.
Technically, they were briefly resonating because Obito, it's a spiritual aspect, but to make it a long story short, Obito and Kakashi's chakras were briefly resonating during the Kaguya fight. Afterwards, Obito went to the afterlife to be with Rin, biggest simp in the series. Excuse me. And after that, Kakashi lost access to the Sharingan.
And he became a normal being at that point.
Some would argue he's a lot stronger without the Sharingan, but hey, you're comparing raw power to hacks, so that's always going to be a debate.
Yeah, and I would say kind of like how Naruto is now in Boruto, he just has Sage Jutsu.
There's a lot you can do with nature energy now. There's a lot you can do with nature energy.
Yeah, get smacked around by karma.
And he has access to the other Biju. And he has access to the other Biju. He just doesn't have Kurama anymore.
And then on top of that, it took Boruto to get stage 2 Mamishiki to even touch Karma, but then he lost control and started almost killing people.
But I will say this. Technically, Sora is a filler character, but he does have parts of Kurama in him prior to Baryon mode. So if Kishimoto wants to canonize Sora to bring Kurama back, he could do it that way.
Yeah, true.
But remember, the 12 Guardians art was filler. Was technically considered filler.
Yeah, they kind of was.
And Sora was never seen again.
I think he was only shown for like maybe at least 3 episodes max.
I want to say about 5. About the same amount of time Raditz was in Dragon Ball. I think it was about 5.
And then that goes on to the next question. I want to go over this topic. How strong is Sasuke technically without the Renegon? Now,
he's definitely high Kage level. I'm not going to say he's got to.
I'll say second Hokage taijutsu level.
In terms of pure physical prowess, I would say yes. He's on par with Tobirama.
But first Hokage, no, you are not touching him.
Hashirama is a heavy hitter now. He's a tank. I know. But Hashirama ain't got a whole lot of speed. He's just a tank.
He'll hit you with that water style explosive bite of the water dragon. Oh, it's a wrap.
I think you're confusing Tobirama with Hashirama. Hashirama used wood style most of the time.
Wood style. I know either the first Hokage had wood style. He's the one that fought Madara.
Yeah.
And then second Hokage had water style.
And flying Raijin, and innovated the reanimation.
Yes, and
the shadow clone.
And it was just crazy because Minato learned the flying Raijin from him, but Minato perfected it himself and made his yellow.
Minato innovated and made his own variant. By the time Minato got through the academy, Tobirama was long since dead. Tobirama died at the tail end of the Great War. The first Great Ninja War, when a rogue faction of Cloud Ninja, the Gold and Silver Brothers, surrounded his platoon, and he allowed the others to escape. Tobirama purposely sacrificed himself. Mm-hmm. And that was about a good 5. I may have the timeline off, but it was about a good 5-10 years before Minato was even out of the academy, let alone when the second Great Ninja War kicked off.
And then I would say Sasuke would probably be a little bit more advanced than the third Hokage.
Now, old man Hiruzen, definitely, but in his prime, no. Hardly. Only the Senju brothers themselves could rival Prime Hiruzen if we're going off the data books. Only a select few could rival Prime Hiruzen.
Now, will you that? Old man got him a pair down there. This man sacrificed himself and went against Orochimaru, knowing that his old self couldn't dance like he used to. He still did it. And knowing darn well that you should not have activated that Reaper Death Seal.
Yeah, but what choice did he really have? He was at the tail end of his prime. He was barely able to stop Orochimaru from... Okay, this technically got retconned, but in the manga version of the original fight, Orochimaru did attempt to revive Minato in the first fight back in part 1 during Konoha Crush. Hiruzen stopped the third coffin from being summoned in time, but this was later recon that Minato was bound to the Reaper and the Reaper Death Seal. But Orochimaru could have found the mask at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
He literally could have found the mask at any given time.
Now, didn't he originally find the mask?
Yes, he found it ahead of time, left a replica in Konoha during the war, so all he had to do, so they had to technically sneak back into the village.
And that's what they did for the tuning exam.
Yeah. Now, in context of part 1, I don't know when Orochimaru originally found the mask. That was never stated. We just know by the time the war rolls around and Sasuke and Itachi defeat Kabuto, Orochimaru discovered and found the mask and then used it to revive the 4 Hokage from the Reaper. We don't know when Orochimaru originally found the mask. We just know that he found it at some point.
Yeah. And then you want to know the funny thing? There's usually always a piece of Orochimaru everywhere you go. Here's a term. Here's the prime example. Sasuke versus Itachi. This man, Sasuke, shot snakes out of his neck, and Orochimaru comes out of one like, oh, hey, I'm back alive. Hey, how you doing? And then Itachi said, nope.
Technically, Itachi dragged that fight. 1, because he knew he was on death's door from his chakra illness, and 2, he wanted to save Sasuke from being corrupted from Orochimaru further. So technically, Itachi dragged that fight. He threw that fight.
He sucked Orochimaru into a jar.
Technically, Tosca Blade, that version of Orochimaru was sealed. Anko still had her curse mark on her neck. As long as Orochimaru at least has one curse mark in play, he could always come back. Hence why he was never executed.
Yeah, and Sasuke still has his.
No, Sasuke got his removed in the Itachi fight.
Oh, yeah, Itachi did remove it for him.
But yeah, if that was a true death match, I think Itachi would have edged out in the end, but he didn't want to kill his brother.
Yeah, and then the funny thing about it, all it took was Itachi just to... And then Sasuke just sat there and lost it. No words spoken, like, what is this?
Technically...
Then Itachi got reanimated. Sasuke was just in the woods. You pass each other. And then they fought a second time, and then it was funny how Itachi, even in his reanimated form, whipped out that perfect Susanoo. I was like, yo.
Look, this is my brother. I'll defend this idiot to Kingdom Come. He is my literal half-brother. So I will defend this fool to Kingdom Come. But if you're in a situation like Sasuke and Itachi, you're going to want closure, at least in some aspect. Sasuke was no more than about 8 years old when the Uchiha massacre went down. All the political tension, all the weariness, all the backlash.
Yeah.
Sasuke was 8 when all that went down. There was no way he'd be able to understand a situation that complex.
But then he always wondered why him. When Itachi was ordered to kill him, but Itachi didn't want to.
That's your baby brother. You're not gonna offer.
Oh, you kill your mom and your dad, but you won't kill your baby brother.
One, someone has to continue the Uchiha line long after you're gone, and you seek redemption. So someone has to be left alive to continue the Uchiha line. Not to mention, Itachi specifically made a pact with Danzo and Hiruzen that he will do the deed and infiltrate the Akatsuki on the condition that Sasuke be spared. And if he found out that if Danzo did something shady and Sasuke was harmed, he would leak vital intel to the other nations, putting Konoha at risk.
And then that Sasuke found out that Danzo has something to do with it. That's why he tried to kill Danzo after the 5 Kage summit.
Itachi wanted to make Sasuke a hero and spare him of the ignorance of the chaos and corruption, and that is the cruelty of the shinobi world. He just wanted to let his little brother have some measure of innocence. Sasuke didn't know the full truth. Obito gave him a skewed version of it. Sasuke awakens the Mangekyo and lashes out. Like, he literally just lashed out. He did what anyone else would have done in that situation. Now, granted, it's not honorable, but you can understand why Sasuke goes through his dark spiral in the war and the 5 Kage Summit arc onwards.
But then this the crazy thing about it was around the same time Kakashi even thought that he had a chance to beat Sasuke. Sasuke even looked at him and said, "Do you really think that you can kill me?" No, but then Kakashi's like, "I'm gonna try." Technically,
okay, because the stamina drain is immense for non-Uchiha users who don't have a caveat or counter like Danzo had with Hashirama cells. I think 5 Kage Summit Kakashi could pull it off. It would have been a very close fight, but Kakashi had more experience, had more versatility, and has 1,000 jutsu in his arsenal. It would have been a close fight, a battle of attrition, but Kakashi could have pulled it off, especially with Sasuke, 1, raiding the 5 Kage Summit guns blazing and not taking the time to regulate his chakra after getting the Mangekyo first, and 2, running blind from overuse. If Kakashi dragged the fight long enough, he could have came out on top.
Yes, he really could have. They both would have took some eye damage, but that would have been a fight for sure. I feel like it would have probably pushed Kakashi to Sasuke would have definitely pushed him to a limit he has.
To his limit. It would have been a very close fight. It would have been a very close fight.
And I think I can. Let me see if I can't find a big. I want to show y'all a meme now. I want to show you a meme. Now, you want to know why they call Kakashi the copy ninja? Where is it at? All right, this is about to be funny. Do not laugh. I am sorry. And then we will go on to our next.
Teledia. Oh, we're gonna have a time. We're gonna have a time. Oh man. Sorry, man. You good, man. You good. Continue. Find the meme. I feel you, Teledia. I feel you. We gonna have a time. Double up conscious. I know you came here to see. If you afraid, then you come on with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get it. Going down for real.
He's so smooth with it. Oh, I had to do it, man. I had to do it.
Hey, Talady, you want to come on the stream? If you're still there, you're welcome. We're talking about Dragon Ball and Naruto and Sasuke.
We have on a Power Hour, we are putting Sasuke against Vegeta, and we're gonna at the end of the stream, we're gonna find out exactly who's gonna win because we're gonna watch the fight.
Okay.
And let me see. If you want to join Taladia, you can. But we'll go to our next topic while we wait on him.
Hopefully he joins us.
All right, now the power of the Susanoo. Now, in my all I see is that it's just a great defense, in my opinion. I mean, besides having powerful striking force and basically gives off about the same power as Naruto in his full, Nine Tails chakra form with the giant Nine Tails. But I mean, what good can a Susanoo even do?
Well, a Susanoo is very durable outside of Otsutsuki. It's hard to crack a Susanoo armor, especially once you reach the perfect Susanoo. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. Now, what didn't Sasuke awaken 2 state? Like he had his regular, and then when he fought Naruto that last time, that was when he mixed the lightning with his. Wasn't that a new form? Or
technically, that's when he siphoned the chakra from the tailed beast to amp up his Susanoo even more. Because technically, and no one wants to, and hardly in half the fan base doesn't want to accept this, Naruto was technically stronger than Sasuke even in the final battle. He just didn't want to kill Sasuke. It wasn't a death match. It was a battle to be sure, but it wasn't a death match.
It really wasn't. I mean, they were going just basic, straight up. But Sasuke was still quicker than Naruto, even in hand-to-hand combat. Like, he wouldn't even let Naruto perform hand signs. Like, Sasuke was all up in that dude's face.
But again, Sasuke had speed. Naruto was a tank. It kind of mirrors Madara and Hashirama and even Ashura and Indra to an extent, if you're going to go off that symbolism.
Yeah,
Naruto, Sasuke had hacks and speed. Naruto had physical power and strength. Again, they're going to balance each other out. It all depends on attrition.
But then it seemed like it was kind of like one-sided at one point when Sasuke awakened Susanoo. Naruto went to his full Nine-Tails chakra form, or his full power Nine-Tails chakra form, and that Susanoo was whooping the crap out of the Nine-Tails.
Well, again, one, he only had half the Nine-Tails chakra because the other half was again bound to the Ten-Tails, eventually freed from Kaguya being unsealed, and then bound to Sasuke's Shino Tensei. So again, Naruto was only running on half of his full potential, as well as any stamina loss from the war on top of that.
But see, there's a lot of stuff about the Susanoo that me personally, I don't understand. I just failed to understand the purpose of the Susanoo. But let's go
now. We can go into the mythological aspect, but it's cool. But again, Swag-Kage can explain that for you.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Swag-Kage here, and welcome to today's video.
I didn't know you knew him.
We're going to be talking about the Susanoo. I briefly covered the Susanoo a bit in my Mangekyo Sharingan video a little over a year ago, but I didn't explain every aspect of it. Well, I did explain a bit of the requirements to unlock the Susanoo, and I briefly touched on the different stages of development it has. There's a whole lot more to it than what I explained in that video, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Susanoo is the ability a person unlocks after they've unlocked the abilities of both of their Mangekyo Sharingan. And as you can tell, this means that it is a Sharingan exclusive ability. There's a bit of a widespread myth in the Naruto community that a person has to be able to use Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi to activate the Susanoo, and that's not the case. Madara can't use Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi. Sasuke can't use Tsukuyomi. Shisui certainly can't use Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi. And Kakashi and Obito definitely can't use either of these abilities. As I explained in the Mangekyo Sharingan video, all Mangekyo Sharingan grant a person different powers. So unlocking a specific set of abilities isn't required to use the Susanoo at all. The only prerequisite is for a person to be able to use the abilities in both of their Mangekyo Sharingan, and after that, the Susanoo will begin naturally developing. Susanoo literally translates to he with the ability to help by all means. And as one of the only ninjutsu that entails the creation of another being, I think this is a pretty fitting name for it. Now, for all two of you who don't know what it is, the Susanoo is like an extension of their creator's will, and it comes in the shape of an ethereal humanoid armed with various weapons. The Susanoo is typically thought of as both the ultimate offense and the ultimate defense, though this description applies to Itachi Uchiha's Susanoo in particular. Anyhow, the reason it's thought of this way is that the humanoid created by the Susanoo surrounds the user as it's being formed. This means that a user of the Susanoo stands on the inside of it, and as you can probably imagine, it has to be pretty big to compensate for that. Both of these traits complement each other very well and contribute greatly to the technique's effectiveness in battle. It's also important to keep in mind that the Susanoo is incredibly sturdy, and since it surrounds its user, this means that attacking them while the Susanoo is active is very difficult to do. To further add on to that, its large size allows it to both attack enemies from very far away and dish out attacks with incredible destructive power. So for anybody at Jonin level or below, the Susanoo is a nightmare to face off against. Of course, such a ludicrously powerful technique does come with a pretty high cost, like all Mangekyo Sharingan techniques do. And this cost is likely the highest of any of the abilities granted by the Mangekyo. The first and most obvious drawback associated with using the Susanoo is that it requires a monstrous amount of chakra to keep it active. There's not much more to say about that. That clause is pretty self-explanatory, but further adding on to this, Sasuke explains to the audience during his battle against the 5 Kage that using the Susanoo causes the user to feel an intense amount of pain in every cell in their body. Whether this was a literal explanation or hyperbole isn't explained, but Sasuke does point out that the pain is excruciating even when using the Susanoo's lower stages. stages. This seems to imply that higher levels of Susanoo use entail a more intense feeling of pain, but I'd also imagine that later stages of Susanoo drain a user's chakra more quickly as well. The final drawback associated with using the Susanoo is the progressive deterioration of its user's eyesight, though this issue is a bit more complicated than it might seem at face value. So, first of all, while it's not actually necessary for a person to have their Mangekyo Sharingan active to use the Susanoo, repeated use of it does contribute to a person going blind over time, just like their other two Mangekyo abilities do. If a person causes themselves to go blind this way by overusing their Mangekyo Sharingan abilities, they will not be able to use their Susanoo anymore after that point. This was clearly shown to the audience when Sasuke's Susanoo completely disappeared after he went blind from Mangekyo Sharingan overuse. However, if a person goes blind for other reasons, they will still have access to their Susanoo, as shown when Madara was able to use his Susanoo with both of his eyes missing. And though this source isn't quite as credible, as also shown when Shisui was able to use his Susanoo with just one eye in one of the Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution cutscenes. One thing that makes the blindness caused by Susanoo overuse pretty difficult to work around is the fact that progressing the Susanoo to its higher stages requires that a person becomes seasoned in using it. It's necessary to have experience using the Susanoo to evolve it, which also means that to access more powerful stages of the Susanoo, a person has to use it repeatedly. This is pretty counterintuitive because by the time somebody has evolved it to its armored state, they will have already either nearly gone blind or completely gone blind, meaning that all of the time and effort they spent training to use their Susanoo will have gone to waste. As with every other Mangekyo Sharingan ability, it is possible to bypass this drawback by acquiring the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which also serves to slightly lower the Susanoo's chakra cost as well. Now, as I've alluded to all video long, the Susanoo does have various stages of development that a person can access once they've unlocked them. After first acquiring the Susanoo, a person will only be able to access its initial stage, though as I mentioned earlier, repeated use of the Susanoo will eventually allow a person to access higher levels of it. It is worth noting that a person can still access its lower levels if they choose to, even if they have access to the Susanoo's final stages. Since the Susanoo's various forms vary quite drastically from one another in terms of appearance, power, and abilities, this is a very nice skill to have access to. Now, while each subsequent level of the Susanoo is vastly different from the one that preceded it, all of them do have a handful of traits in common. The Susanoo is capable of protecting its user from physical attacks at all stages, though its durability varies depending on what level is being used. Of course, this does mean it is possible to break through a Susanoo with brute force, though doing so becomes harder and harder as a person progresses it to its higher stages. In the rare event that the Susanoo is shattered, however, it will not regenerate and will only reappear once its user conjures it again. Additionally, while no physical attacks are capable of passing through the outside of the Susanoo, it's possible for a user to launch ninjutsu and other attacks of the same sort from the inside of the Susanoo. In other words, the barrier-like exterior of the Susanoo will always defend its user to the best of its ability, though never at the user's expense. This does come with a few weaknesses of its own, though. Since the Susanoo isn't completely solid, this does leave its user susceptible to sound-based attacks and visual genjutsu. But since the Sharingan makes a person almost entirely immune to visual genjutsu, this isn't much of a weakness anyway. Aside from this, a user of the Susanoo will always be suspended within it, regardless of what stage they are using. Now, it's generally very difficult to pull somebody out of their Susanoo without breaking it first, but in the rare event that this is done, the Susanoo will immediately dissipate. Even if a person was able to escape from inside of their Susanoo, this would just cause it to disappear, so there's no use for doing so. These are the only similarities between the various stages of the Susanoo, and they're also the only similarities between the Susanoo of various people. As many of you know already, the power, abilities, and appearance of a Susanoo is tied directly to the person who owns it. This means that even at the same development stage, the Susanoo of two different people will often be very different, with more than enough distinct differences to tell one apart from the other. The most notable of these is the color difference. For example, Sasuke's Susanoo is purple, Itachi's is orange, and Madara's is blue, but there are a few more subtle differences between individual Susanoo, and I'll get into explaining them as I explain its various development stages. The Susanoo's first stage allows...
Now, James, bring all those babies.
Okay, let's begin.
Logan?
allows its user to create its skeleton, complete with a cage, bones, and even a skull face. The level of the Susanoo can actually be broken down into various sub-stages, as it actually takes a while for a user of the Susanoo to advance all the way to the point that they have developed a full skeleton. Somebody who has freshly unlocked the ability to use their Susanoo will initially only be able to manifest its ribcage. This can be used for defensive purposes, but not much else. The only differences that exist between users across this stage are its color and its durability. It seems possible to increase this ribcage's durability by using the Susanoo repeatedly, as made evident by the fact that the 4th Raikage was able to break through Sasuke's Susanoo at this stage, but couldn't do the same thing to Madara. The next sub-stage of the skeletal Susanoo allows its user to manifest arms, and this is where differences become a bit more apparent. While Itachi and Sasuke just created basic arms with fists at the end of them in this stage. The arm created by Madara during this stage is actually bladed and has a sword in place of a fist. Typically at this stage, users of the Susanoo only create one arm, and it isn't until they advance to the next stage that they create two. The next sub-stage of the skeletal Susanoo is the entire thing. It doesn't involve the creation of an entire skeleton, but rather the entire upper half of a skeleton. Now, despite what I just mentioned about the Susanoo's arms, it is possible to advance into this stage without creating two arms, and Madara has even shown the ability to do it without creating either arm. Both of these stages grant the Susanoo offensive potential that the base ribcage did not have. Though obviously it isn't until the entire skeleton is formed that the user is able to use this stage of the Susanoo to its fullest. The differences between various Susanoo at the final level of the skeletal stage are very minor, if even present at all to begin with, as in most cases a person's Susanoo will not conjure weapons at this stage. An exception to this rule has been seen when Sasuke conjured a sword in his skeletal Susanoo's hands during the fight against Kabuto, but it might be possible for all users of Susanoo to conjure this weapon at this stage, since having a Susanoo that wields a sword certainly isn't unique to Sasuke. Anyhow, though it's not as durable or well-armed as later stages of the Susanoo, the skeletal stage is still pretty powerful and difficult to fight against. If the strength of Sasuke's is anything to base this on, one punch from this level of the Susanoo is enough to kill somebody. Danzo actually died after being punched by Sasuke's skeletal Susanoo and had to use Izanagi to return himself to life. Also, I guess it's possible to create 4 arms for your Susanoo at this stage, even though Susanoo users don't do this all the time, so I don't really know if there are any limits on it, but I throw that out there. This ability is also retained in later stages too, so yeah, I guess that's worth keeping in mind. Anyhow, the next stage of the Susanoo is what is typically referred to as the humanoid Susanoo. At this stage, a person's Susanoo will typically have a more human-like face than the skeleton seen in the previous stage, and the ribcage that's visible in the skeletal Susanoo can no longer be seen here. In most cases, at this level, the Susanoo will begin to materialize flesh, and will then materialize clothing of some sort on top of that. Of course, at this level, the Susanoo is obviously more powerful. It's more durable, and its basic attacks have a wider range. But what really sets it apart from the skeletal stage is that the humanoid Susanoo is typically granted a unique weapon based on the user. Itachi and Madara can both use the Asuka Magatama beads at this stage, and Madara can additionally conjure 4 swords in each hand of his Susanoo, while Itachi gains access to the Totsuka blade, which can seal anything it comes into contact with, and the Yata mirror, which can reflect any physical attack. Sasuke gains access to a crossbow, and after he gains the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he can light the arrows he shoots from this crossbow on fire with Amaterasu, or even shoot arrows composed entirely of Amaterasu's flames with Ento and Kagatsuchi. Susanoo wields a hybrid between a drill and a spear in this stage, and he can also shoot out needles composed entirely of his Susanoo's chakra. And he can even coat this drill flames using his fire release due to increase its effectiveness and make surviving getting by it pretty much impossible. Skilled users of the Susanoo can also manifest legs for their Susanoo at this stage, which drastically increases its mobility. Now, the only people confirmed to be capable of doing so are the only people who have access to the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in the series, Madara and Sasuke. So I don't know if a person's required to have the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan before this can be done, or if this is a trait that's only unique to certain Susanoo. The Susanoo sounded powerful enough. Well, we still have 3 more stages of the Susanoo to go. The next level is the armored Susanoo, which isn't significantly different from the humanoid Susanoo. Aside from its color, appearance, and size, this level of the Susanoo doesn't seem to have too many differences spread across its various users, though it's a bit hard to say because Sasuke, Itachi, and Madara are the only people to ever pull this stage of the Susanoo out, and all 3 of them do very briefly. Obviously, it's more powerful and more durable than the humanoid Susanoo, and it obviously looks quite a bit different since, as its name implies, this stage of the Susanoo is to manifest armor on top of the clothing that it manifested in the previous stage. But aside from that, I can't tell you much. I'll say that Madara's is gigantic, and Sasuke and Itachi's both look pretty similar, but that's really all I can think to say about it. It also doesn't seem to be possible.
Well, we're going to take a short break. What's up, Taladia? How you doing?
Taladia.
I'm good, man. What's it called? Wonder Bites a thing.
Really?
But yes, we are watching.
What Snyder Queen posted?
Please tell me you have that screen share ready to go. Please, I
can't hear you.
Hold on, can you hear me now?
Hold on.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
I can't hear you, bro.
Hold on.
Hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Taladia, can you hear us?
All right, try that now.
Testing.
All right,
One,
can you
two,
hear us
three.
now?
Yeah.
Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, Wonder Bag's a thing. I can't wait to rub it in Jared's face tonight.
We're gonna please tell me you have that screen shared. We're gonna have some fun during the Superman and Lois review. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh, I've got the tweet.
Oh, I gotta see this.
You want to see the tweet?
Yeah, I follow all y'all, even Snyder Queen and all them on Twitter. I've heard about the hype. I didn't know she actually went through with it. So I'm just like, I gotta see this for myself.
Brave Time.
Wonder Bat is a thing. Yo.
Hold on, it might be lagging. Have you screen shared it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I gotta add it. There you go.
Oh!
Yo!
Oh! Please tell me you haven't forwarded this to Jared yet. This is too fucking priceless.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Bro, this is gold. That is gold. He's gonna flip. Jared is gonna flip, yo.
He might rage quit.
He might rage quit. I know.
Oh
because
man,
there's a clip of it too.
Please.
For the Flash, and everybody was like freaking out when you came on the screen.
You know what? That movie's good.
I hear it's amazing.
That movie's
it looks
really
good.
I
hear that movie's
they
fucking
made it
great.
good.
I love that.
And it's my best shit I've done. I finally figured out how to play the guy.
No, really?
I got it.
For real?
I was like, hold on. I quit. I know I quit. And I know I came back to it. But I got it now. It's like, you do the audition and you're on your way home and you're like, no.
Wait, what was the moment? Why did the penny drop? What happened?
I mean, I don't want to give a spoiler, but it was a scene where I get caught. I get saved by Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
During a conflagration with some bad guys.
Yeah.
And she saves me by I mean, I'm sure I'm like the spoiler, DC assassins.
She saves you some
She
way.
saves you with the lasso of truth.
Yeah. Sure.
And so what happens is that Batman divulges, some of his real feelings.
Yeah.
About his life and his work. And
it helps you see the character, and now you want another chance to play it.
And I was like, wait a minute, I got it. Am I still? Wait, can I, guys?
Are we still rolling? Can we write another
story of my fucking life?
By the way, Ben, one time I remember years ago, and I asked him about it. I remember Alec Baldwin told me.
Wonder Bat confirmed.
Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder 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 Bat, Wonder Bat, Wonder Wonder Bat. Hey, Wonder Bat, 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 Wonder Bat.
Yeah, it's happening.
But when y'all go on live tonight, I'm gonna be watching. Give Jarrett my regards.
Of course, man. He's gonna need a shoulder to cry on after this.
Oh, he definitely is.
All right, so now let's. I want to get back into, my topic now. For Sasuke's competitor. Now, Taladia, this might throw you for a loop, but the reason I created this segment, Dragon Ball Power Hour, is because I want to take Dragon Ball, since its universe has one of the most, I guess, specific and high level power scaling, along as One Punch Man, all them. Like every anime has different power scaling, and that's what draws a lot of people to be like, oh, this person can be this person, but you can't do that without having to break down the different power scaling. So,
which is true.
So Sasuke's competitor, the one, the only,
Vegeta.
Yes. Now,
Vegeta.
Yes. Now, in my defense, I really feel like Vegeta might have the upper hand against Sasuke.
Depends.
Right.
If we're talking like post Shippuden, like during the blank period with the light novels, Sasuke could hold his own. But since his Rinnegan got gouged out, Vegeta stomps.
True. And I mean, you even got to take in consideration that Vegeta, like, you got Blue Evolution, Ultra Ego, and even then, like, he can only use like maybe 5% of his power and still might overpower Sasuke.
True.
Okay.
True.
Hold on, did we just get a DM? I think I got a DM.
Wait. I wonder who it's from. If Nick spoiled the surprise, I swear.
Let me see. I'm just checking my DMs now.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, man. All right, Jared. So, in your defense, what do you think the power scaling on Blue Evolution is?
Nick hasn't. Hold on. You sent me a message. I just gotta accept the request. Alright, I sorted it out.
Okay.
All right. So I was asking you, Jared. What do you think the power scaling itself on Blue Evolution, like, besides Ultra Ego?
Okay. If we're factoring it, I would say not with God Key in terms of pure raw strength and feats. Dragon Ball has a wider scale than what Naruto has. Naruto's barely reached planetary level, Planet Buster, and that's recent with Boruto.
Yes,
now you could argue.
Agree.
You could argue interdimensional with certain characters, but not the norm. So I just think Sasuke's best play would literally be Scouter Vegeta. If I'm making it completely fair, if I'm using both rules in their power scaling, Sasuke's best scenario would be Scouter or maybe even Namek Vegeta. Best case scenario.
I would say beginning of the Cell Saga Vegeta at most.
Before or after he becomes a Super Saiyan?
Right when he first turns Super Saiyan for the first time. I think at most Sasuke might have a chance up to that point.
That's fair. So, Anya, what do you think?
I think Vegeta, Saiyan Saga, or post Frieza Saga, I would say. Post Frieza, pre-Cell games.
And a lot of people were saying that Blue Evolution is more of a calmer version of Ultra Ego. He says that Ultra Ego gives Vegeta that kind of like
Super Saiyan 3.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. But also, it's very aggressive. They said that form is very aggressive compared to Ultra Instinct. Like, yeah. We have not yet to really see Ultra Ego in action. That's why I'm so waiting for the season to come back.
Yeah.
But I found this right here, and I think y'all might can agree. My buddy sent me this from work. He says this would also be.
By the way, before we move on to this topic, I also want to talk about Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Yes!
16 years in the making.
Because I know I wasn't able to join the last stream when you guys talked about it. I was just like, this is a game that's been in the making for such a long time now. And it's going to be a great game.
It really is. I'm really excited for it.
Imagine Ultra Instinct in that game.
Before you play the clip, I only have one deal breaker. You got to give me the beam clashes. You got to give me the beam struggles. I have to break my controller on them beam struggles. It's not the same. If I don't even have at least that, it's not the same. It's not the same. Am I wrong? Am I
Nope.
wrong?
You are not wrong, my G.
Like these kids nowadays, this current generation coming up with Fortnite and Apex, y'all ain't ready for Budokai. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready.
Show ain't.
Because if it has online, no, God forbid Budokai 4 has online battles, I will smoke every last one of y'all, and I will literally feed on your tears as I do it.
Yes, like I told a lot of these younger kids that's like 18, 19 at my job, whatever. They're like, oh, I've been playing since Fighters. I've been playing since, Xenoverse 2. And I said, but have you played the original Budokai 1? When you have, get on my level.
Get on my level.
Because I'm like, look, Budokai 2, Budokai 3, Ultimate Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, 3, the god of anime games. That was the best line of games that I've had.
You're not far off, but come on, man. Even you gotta admit that graphics were Ultimate Tenkaichi saving grace. Their hero mode sucked. The roster was mid. Here, Ultimate Tenkaichi had a lot of problems, man.
Yeah, he really did.
I'll admit it's one of my favorite DBZ games, but it had a lot of problems.
Show did.
Let's be real here.
Yeah, and I feel like it gave me more of like the Battle of Z vibes, kind of, sort of.
I can no. Okay, Ultimate Tenkaichi was just too ambitious. Battle of Z was a blatant cash grab, especially if you had it on Kinect. Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah, you're joining me right tonight. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm joining you for Superman and Lois episode 4.
All right. Just making.
Hold on.
While we wait for JHEAT to come back,
I might actually. I think this one would probably explain it even better.
Yeah.
Because we're almost about an hour. I want to try to. I didn't expect to get this long, but we're gonna go to that. Okay. And while we wait on him, I don't really know much about Ultra Ego, honestly. Like, I barely like.
The only thing I know about Ultra Ego is that it's the opposite version of what Ultra Instinct is.
Now, people are saying this is like God of Destruction, Vegeta, but I'm like, I don't think that transformation give me the vibes of what Topo did.
No, it isn't. It's nothing like the God of Destruction powers.
Hey, I need to clear this up right now. What Vegeta has is like he's getting the grasp of destruction. That's not the Hakai form in of itself. Topo surpassed Belmont, the Destroyer Universe 11. Is Destroyer tier in terms of power and is the next of line to be an actual Destroyer candidate. What Vegeta has right now is just small potatoes compared to what Topo's achieved. And the only reason he resorted to the Destroyer form is because Frieza egged him on in the anime version of the Tournament of Power. In the manga version, he didn't do it. And in any other scenario, he wouldn't do it because Topo might go overboard and get disqualified. Like, he beat the dog shit out of Frieza. It took him everything not to inadvertently kill him.
Yeah, Frieza was lucky. And even then, Jiren put the pause on Frieza. Like, good lord.
So, lady, anything you want to add on that?
No, I think you've said it all. I'm just like, right now, I'm in a state of happiness right now.
All right, here's a
I got you.
minute.
Guys, but ever since it was time for Vegeta to step up to the plate and take out Granola, Ultra Instinct Goku was defeated, it honestly seems like these weeks have just been agonizingly dragging. The past 2 chapters have attempting to that is happening with Warriors, but for the most part, gone directly back battle now, and it's crazy to think of it like that. We've seen Ultra Instinct as kind of this power for mortals and sort of the basis for the Angels' powers as of recent. Even time went on and Goku continued to develop this technique unique, however, were still crucial moments where his inexperience with this power cost him dearly. After Instinct Goku was defeated by Granola, even after his most recent training with Whis that allowed him to demonstrate control over UI that we've never seen before, Vegeta found himself face to face with the so-called strongest in the universe. Now, he had also been training as well, however, with Lord Beerus taking him under his wing finally and teaching him the ways of destruction, but Granola's power was surprisingly overwhelming. The more Vegeta continued to be pushed, the more he realized that he could he bled, the more berserk he became, it seems. Super Saiyan Vegeta, even with the power of destruction, proved to be less than a match for a considerable amount of energy to battle with Goku, but something changed. With no one to save, no planet to protect, Vegeta's savage battle sense took over, and something inside of him absolutely snapped. Granola delivered a near-fatal blow to his abdomen. Vegeta had now succumbed to his savage side once more, but something was far, far
You need ad blockers.
different this time around. It became not only extremely well, Vegeta will be
Yeah,
by Bora as his
I
transformation
don't know how to get
developed,
ad blockers.
and the final product was stunning. In today's video, I want to do my best to explain what we already know about Vegeta's Ultra Instinct-like Ultra Ego and some of the comparisons being drawn between the two. I think we can expect a detailed explanation in the next chapter of Dragon Ball Super, but for now, we can analyze what we've seen previously and the information that's being compiled so far from across the internet. If you guys want to some manga for yourselves in case you aren't caught up somehow already, as always, I recommend sites like Viz Media and the Shonen Jump app to always support the official releases, so be sure to go check them out. If you haven't already, be sure to have those notifications turned on to never miss an upload as soon as they go live.
All
And
YouTubers
if you are
need
enjoying all of the
notification
anime
bell.
content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. It really helps out a ton, guys. Be sure to follow on both Twitch
Jesus Christ,
related
dude.
content. But without further ado, training he'd done with Beerus had paid off. Having already demonstrated control over the power of destruction, this form took Vegeta to a whole new level, relative to how Goku changed after his first Ultra Instinct transformation. Right away, it seems like the first indication of a user being able to harness this power is obviously having relative knowledge and control over the power of destruction, but the main point is the mindset the user is in, which, as we can see from Vegeta, played a huge part in accelerating this form. As we pretty much saw with our own eyes, when Vegeta took on this form, he instantly became more powerful by leagues even, and I would assume that he has near full control over the power of destruction point in its entirety of this arc. One of the most interesting portions of destruction, however, and this is probably my favorite part, is the aura. Now, in Dragon Ball, I would think something like this would be a lot more common, but the aura of Vegeta transforming into his Ultra Ego form was pretty unique. Thin but very powerful and dangerous flames manifest themselves in the form of this unique aura around him that can involuntarily of Vegeta destroy enemy attacks on contact, as we saw from Granola attempting to shoot Vegeta as he transformed. More controversial aspects of this transformation, funnily enough, however, is the name itself. I'm going to be honest here, I myself am not really a fan of the phrase Ultra Ego. It sounds kind of corny to me, but I suppose relative to Vegeta, it is slightly fitting. As we dive a little deep into the translations, and some still call them a bit sketchy, but what we have at the moment, we can begin to draw the conclusion Ultra Ego is almost a direct contrast to Ultra Instinct, or so it seems right now. Ultra Instinct looks to draw upon a severe level of self-indulgence in battle, as Vegeta displayed vigorously in his fight with Granola more and more as the battle went on. Instead of the body instinctively dodging and counterattacking and becoming, more precise and efficient as the battle goes on, it would seem that Vegeta's variation overall just explodes his strength as the battle goes on, with damage being taken in his placing. This was further displayed as Vegeta pretty much just admitted to his Primal Saiyan instincts resurfacing in this fight, being able to almost enjoy the pain that he and his opponent inflict on. The immediate drawback that we did see from this form, though, were the dangers of Vegeta just completely succumbing to his bloodlust and forcing his body to grow stronger through these means. Once Vegeta became too engulfed in battle, he began neglecting how much damage he'd taken, and eventually it did catch up. Now, yes, I know Vegeta was defeated by Granola at the end of the last chapter, even with his new Ultra Ego form, as Granola just pulled out some crazy double Sharingan stuff, but there is one detail that I really want to hammer down on here that I think a lot of people are looking past. Yes, it took far too long for Vegeta to get something like this. I completely agree. And yes, it does. Vegeta just does kind of get written off. Goku coming back to save the day a lot of the times, but guys, with all of the comparisons and relativity to Ultra Instinct, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever, and I feel like you guys should feel this way as well, that this is only the most infantile form of Ultra Ego Vegeta will be capable. When we first saw Ultra Instinct sign in the Tournament of Power, we had no idea the things Goku would be capable of, not only in his later fights with Granola, but even just the stuff he was able to do by the end of the tournament. Not done, guys, and neither is Vegeta. I hope and think by the art even be Ultra Ego Vegeta.
It lagged at certain points, but other than that, that was a pretty solid explanation. Though I would like to add one thing. Oh, okay. I would like to add one thing. Battle bloodlust and battle savagery aside, Vegeta first got the form. He didn't have the stamina to take on Granola in a dragged out fight.
Not even Goku did.
Because, okay, so get a quick rundown of the arc. It's literally a monkey's paw, cheaters never win type story. And it was just like, a lot of that could have been avoided. Like, Maito, I know you're one of the few Namekians to survive the cataclysm, but tell Granola the truth. He's a grown man. The average life expectancy for Ceruleans is 200 years old. He doubled that of a humanoid. I can understand not telling him when he was a kid, but he's a grown man now. Rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah, he'll lash out thinking, yes, he'll lash out because he's double the life expectancy of the average human. So he's going to be a little angsty about it. Yeah, he'll be mad, but at least one, you told him the truth. And two, you did it at a point before Granola got bloodthirsty and did something stupid.
Yeah. I mean, he even tried to pull that against Moro, but all Moro did was kept sucking their energy.
Pause.
Yeah. But still, I mean, Moro just kept getting stronger. It took Frieza, of all people, to disintegrate.
I think you're confusing Moro for Gas. Moro was the goat man from the previous arc.
Yeah, when Frieza first teleported and turned black, and the enemy that Goku and Vegeta was fighting, I didn't know if it was Gas or Moro, but
no,
literally.
Gas.
But literally, he disintegrated by that transformation.
And that's the thing with the Cerulean DragonBallZ. It'll grant you what you want in exchange for a caveat. There's always a price to pay. And Gas was channeling more raw power than his physical body could withstand. Till eventually it crumbled on him. And he would inevitably die.
Now, do you think that the Celestial Dragon Balls have much of a toll than the Black Star Dragon Balls?
I believe it's the same caveat. They definitely use the Black Star Dragon Balls as a base, just not as a severe of a consequence, especially with only 2 balls. Pause. I walked right into that one.
But before the video gets long, I have one question for you. Now, before I play this fight, who do you think is going to win, Sasuke or Vegeta?
It depends. I could go either way, depending on which stats we're talking about.
We're putting Vegeta at only using 1% of his power.
1% of his power?
1%
Yes.
of his. You sure we're just not going to use Scouter Vegeta and call it a day? Because at least then that'll be entertaining.
Look, it was the most interesting thing that I was watching at work with my homeboys. But
okay,
I got all bets on Vegeta.
Could go either way. I'm pulling out this one.
All right, let's get ready to rumble.
Vegeta versus Sasuke. We all know who wins, but what if we reduced Vegeta to 1% of his power? That's right, a 99% power decrease in all facets. That's 99% off of speed, strength, durability, attack potency, and overall power level. It's kind of like when Hades took away Hercules' abilities. Can Sasuke remain alive to overtake Sonic as the Rewind Rumble poster boy, or will Vegeta send Sasuke back to the Shadow Realm? Today, we find that out. Today, we Rewind Rumble.
Here we go.
Vegeta is Goku's greatest rival across all of Dragon Ball and is one of the most powerful characters in the series. He has many forms to boost his power, from Super Saiyan all the way to Super Saiyan. Developed his own evolved Super Saiyan Blue to take on a restricted Jiren the Gray. So before we figure out how powerful 1% Vegeta would be, we need to figure out how powerful is 100% Vegeta before we do that 99% discount. Vegeta easily has Universal Plus attack potency, as he can scale to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which is at least 25 times more powerful than Super Saiyan God Goku, who shook the universe. At a low-end estimate, there are roughly 100 billion galaxies in the observable universe. If we lowball Vegeta to just universal power, 1% of that would still be 1 billion galaxies. This is Multi-Galaxy Plus. As for speed, Vegeta was able to keep up with Jiren, which SSJ Ryu 1 calculated that this would make Vegeta at least 1.96 sextillion times the speed of light. 1%, 1.96 septillion times the speed of light. Not sextillion, but still insanely fast. Durability, Vegeta can tank Universal Plus attacks, meaning 1% Vegeta has multi-galaxy of easily worth 1 billion galaxies. Not 1 billion planets. Remember, galaxies have roughly 100 billion planets, so he's still crazy powerful. That's the long story short here, guys. Sasuke does not say racial slurs. He can also keep up with Naruto and is far above moon level in attack potency, but I feel like that first part was more important. Sasuke can scale to Superman, which makes him insanely powerful, and it's not just that he could scale to Superman. He beats Superman so bad that the S on Superman's chest actually stands for...
On my world, it means suck.
Now, many people may refute this evidence by the fact that Sasuke lost badly to DJ Khaled, who is only about planet level and barely faster than light. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't Cartoon Fight Club, so I guess I gotta remove the memes. In all seriousness, we gotta go with Boruto's dad to scale Sasuke off of. Sasuke is comparable to Sage Mode Boruto's dad from the last, which, according to the Wrath of Itachi, this would scale Sasuke to easily being Moon Level Plus. Sasuke is comparable to 6th Path of the Sage Mode Boruto's dad, which would put him at roughly FTL speeds. This should also mean that Sasuke should have Moon Level durability.
And now, let's get ready for the fight. This battle will take place on Earth, and remember, there is no prep.
Let's do it! Ultimate Entertainment is exploding on Crunchyroll.
Time. Let the battle begin.
Here we go.
Excuse me, where can I find Goku? How do you know him and why? He beat my friend Naruto in the arena, and I want to challenge him to test my strength. He's probably fighting some blue rat or something. Or some guy wearing his underwear on the outside. But he's not around here. Very well. You're a Saiyan, right? Would you like to fight me? You've got to be kidding me! Do you think you can just walk up to any Saiyan and ask them for a fight and expect to get it? Fine. I'm sorry I bothered you, Vegeta. How do you know my name? Because everyone says you're a second-rate Goku. Buster! Dragon Flame Jutsu! Sharingan!
Barely able to dodge that.
You seriously think I didn't see you jump behind this rock? Dragon Flame Jutsu!
And of course, he turns Super Saiyan just to tank it.
You should start running for your life. Kakarot, what are you doing here? This should give me some time. Planetary devastation! I should have known he was a fake. No way Kakarot lived that long without saying something stupid. Oh, you've turned into a giant creature. I've never seen that before. Final blast! What's your name, boy?
Yeah, once of his power, Vegeta still was able to didn't even put up a sweat.
I still say him using blue to break Sasuke Susanoo was overkill. 2 could have broke that Susanoo, but I understand the theatrics of it.
That Final Flash would have broke through that Susanoo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I really thought Sasuke would have put up more of a chance. Like, he couldn't keep up with Vegeta at all.
Now, that's the difference between Goku and Vegeta. Goku would have dragged the fight, test Sasuke out a little bit. Goku would have dragged it, at least to get some kind of entertainment out of it. Vegeta, he's just going to go for the knockout. He did give Sasuke an out. He gave Sasuke an out. Run for your life. Back out now. You can't beat me. He was cordial about it in his own Vegeta way. But the moment Vegeta started trying, he was done.
Yep, and then Vegeta barely didn't even touch Super Saiyan 2. He just went Super Saiyan 1 to blue and just oh, it's over.
Which I say was overkill, but I understand the theatrics. Give the fans what they want.
Yes, give the fans what they want.
No.
DC and Marvel. Excuse me.
But I want to thank everybody. Thank y'all for joining. I want to remind everybody that me and Jared are going to be on tomorrow for our dynamic duo. And I have another interesting matchup. One Punch Man versus Goku.
You're gonna piss off a lot of the internet.
No, actually, a lot of people. That's one matchup that no one can really tie their finger around, because you got to think Saitama, like you said, is a gag character, and how he was written, he can literally go up against anybody.
That's true.
And Goku, he just now got the power of the angels. So, and I think Saitama would just literally like blow that out the water
if he can land a blow.
But like I said, we'll never know. We'll have to see tomorrow. Any of y'all got any closing remarks?
Nope.
All righty. It's been fun. I'm your boy, Kit Takeoff. And I will see y'all on the
next one. Now.